Good evening, everyone, or good afternoon. My name is Christina Rendon with KTVU Fox 2 News in the San Francisco Bay Area, and joining us today is Ellen Bradley, Senior Vice President of National Marine Manufacturers Association. Ellen, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate your time, and we're talking about coronavirus, but how it's really impacted boating, because it seems to be very popular right now. Is that right?
You are very right. And a lot of people have that same idea that you just had. And we are seeing that as people have been feeling really cooped up, as summer vacations have been canceled and sports camps and all kinds of activities that people typically do during the summer, they're canceling, or they're finding that are canceled. They're looking for a way to spend their time. And boating has always been a way for people to connect with their loved ones and de-stress and have fun. And in this environment, more than ever, we're finding that people are turning to it as a way to escape and be outdoors. And it's also a really ideal way to practice social distancing. You're out on the water, you encounter who you want to encounter, you control everything about the experience. So people are really finding that not only is it fun, but it's an easy way to practice those important behaviors right now.
Was this something that was kind of surprising to you guys when you first started looking at the numbers? And was it the sales numbers that came in where you realized, okay, people are really starting to take up boating more than normal? Or is this kind of on par with what you see every spring?
So there's usually every spring we see a rise in interest in sales, and that's just typical just because of the season and people looking to spend time outdoors during the summer months. But certainly when coronavirus hit the US, and there was a tremendous amount of uncertainty across the country, and everybody was questioning what's going to happen to the market, what's going to happen to are we entering a significant recession? There was a tremendous amount of uncertainty, and we were not immune to that. Not to mention, as businesses started having to close down and everyone was sheltering in place. So there was a lot of question around what's going to happen to boat sales this summer. And quite frankly, we anticipated that people were going to be hunkering down and that we would see some pretty decent decreases. And on the flip side, we have seen that the feeling of being cooped up, people are spending a lot of time at home, and sales have actually hit record numbers. And we are finding that the inventory that we had in the market is quickly being grabbed, and not just new product, but a lot of the pre-owned product as well. So there are certain categories that have doubled, and seeing numbers that they've never hit before. We just learned that for May, personal watercraft sales across the country, and those are things like Sea-Doos and wave runners and jet skis, those saw an incredible 75% increase year over year. So just an unbelievable jump in sales. And we're really seeing the jump in these smaller entry level, what we call entry level products. So these are boats that are easy to get into from a price standpoint. They're smaller, very easy to operate, and we're hearing from boat dealers that these are new people coming into boating. These are people who are first time boat buyers, which is really exciting, and we believe is something that will help carry the industry as more and more people are exposed to boating, will help carry the industry through the next year, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I was looking at the numbers. It says 75%, you're up 75% in sales from May this year compared to last year. That's incredible. I mean, in terms of when you look at a year-to-year gain.
Yeah, and now that's just one category that's one segment within the market. Okay. Some segments are seeing, and that's the personal watercraft segment, but we anticipate that a lot of those smaller sized boats, and those are really boats that can be trailered behind a car or a truck to a local waterway. So we're not talking about big yachts as much as we are really the average sized boats. And those boats actually make up about 95% of the market anyway.
Mhm.
But that's the product segment that's really selling incredibly well all over the country, and not just in the coastal areas, but most definitely in the Midwest and a lot of the inland areas where there are lakes and local waterways. And as those vacations are being canceled, people are vacationing every weekend. And so they're taking their boats to local waters, they're camping, they're traveling even to other areas that they can drive to, and finding that it's a way to have that summer vacation and still be close to home.
Yeah, and I know that here in California, the rules for, in terms of our health departments and the state itself had this lockdown or stay-at-home order, and they've been slowly easing the restrictions. And I know for states it's different in terms of their health departments and stuff, but across the country, you're saying boating is open, right? Like I mean, maybe some places have restrictions, but it's open.
It is. Over the last, I would say, 60 days, we've started to see, I mean, at first there, with all the shelter in place restrictions, there was just not a lot of activity in general. But today boating is open, and we anticipate that states are going to want to continue to allow boating to be open because of the stress relief and the outdoor ability to be socially distant and have
Sure.
fun and connect with each other. So yeah, it's open and busier than ever.
I'm going to share the screen and show this article on your website. So this is discoverboating.com. Can you see it on your end?
I can see it, yes.
So kind of explain to us what this article talks about.
Sure. So as a boater, we've always known that it is probably one of the best ways to de-stress and really reconnect with not just your loved ones or the people that you're out on the water with, but yourself. And there's actually there have been a lot of studies on this, but there's a great book called Blue Mind by a guy named Dr. Wallace J. Nichols. And he talks about how boating there are a tremendous amount of mental and physical health benefits from being on, in, or near water. And boating certainly falls into that category. And so what this article covers, it talks about why is it good for your health? What are those benefits, and how does that happen? And what is the role of water in that healing process? And what does Blue Mind mean? And we have seen a lot of people really turning to boating right now because of the stress relief that it brings. And so this article helps walk people through why it's such a benefit to the mind and body.
I'm going to play this clip here. I don't know if this has audio that we can hear, but.
Oh, yeah. And there are a lot of really great resources, Christina, on discoverboating.com, not only on just the whys of boating, but the hows. So if you are interested in getting out on the water, or not even just buying, but which the site can walk you through, what kind of boat is even right for you? How do you choose a boat? Where should you boat? And what questions should you ask? And even right now, how do you interact with a boat dealer in this environment? What are some of those safety precautions that you should keep in mind? And how do you do a test drive? And should the driver wear a mask? All those things are answered on the website. But then there's also resources on how to get on the water if you're not sure if you want to buy yet. So there are rental options that you can find in your area. There are things called boat clubs that are becoming more and more popular, where you essentially pay a membership fee and have access to a number of different boats throughout the boating season. And what a lot of people find helpful is getting that boating experience before they go and buy a boat.
Yeah. Well, after watching that video, I feel like I want to go out right now on the water, even though I'm not, I'm not any type of boat aficionado or anything like that. I think I've only been out on a boat just a handful of times, but that just seems so peaceful and calm. So that's awesome. But I would assume, like you had just mentioned, like, what do you do right now during COVID? Like, do you have to wear a mask on the boat? Do you have to wear a mask when you go in to see a dealer to boat shop? I mean, do you know if that's the case?
So interestingly, a lot of dealers have been really smart. They've completely adopted their business model and their approach to how they interact with customers and what that whole sales process and experience looks like. So in a lot of ways, it can be done virtually. And so we're finding that some dealers will bring the boat to your home, or you go and if you want to test drive the boat, it's a very personalized custom experience. It's just you, and the dealer will wear a mask and gloves and make sure that they keep their distance. And yeah, it's actually a very seamless experience. And what advice I would give is to definitely talk with the dealer about what makes you comfortable. And I think that most people will find that they're extremely accommodating. And as far as going out on the boat with other people, it really depends, right? I mean, if you're going out with your immediate family or those people that you've been quarantining with, that's one thing. And I don't think people are necessarily maybe wearing masks in those occasions. But if you're going to invite others on board, we're finding that most people are wearing masks. But for the most part right now, we're seeing people are going out on the water with their immediate family and those close relatives and loved ones and friends that they've been quarantining with.
I don't know if you even know if you would know the answer to this, but is it safe compared to a typical indoor activity since you're outside? I mean, I guess you're distanced on the water, so you're isolated, but in terms of interacting with people, like, is it just as safe as doing an indoor activity?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that there are so many unknowns with this virus, but we are hearing from certain studies that we've looked at talking about just the benefit of being outdoors.
Sure.
And especially in the sunshine, and the benefit of that being in that kind of an environment versus a more enclosed space. And I think that a lot of people will just feel more comfortable in that environment, which is another reason that we're seeing them not just with boating, but people really turning to the outdoors in general right now.
Sure.
And looking for those outdoor experiences.
Someone who has never even thought of boating and now they're interested, I mean, kind of what advice would you give them, and what kind of a price range can they start in?
Great question. So the advice I would give is just do your research, and discoverboating.com is truly a great resource for that. And it's very unbiased. It's an industry effort, so we're not leaning people toward a certain boat type or brand, but it's a great comprehensive resource to understand what kind of boat is right for you and how to get into boating and what is the price point. It really varies pretty dramatically, but for those smaller entry-level boats, I mean, a lot of people are able to get into it for $200 to $300 a month assuming that you finance the boat. And that certainly increases if you add on a bigger stereo system or any kind of fancy accessories, or if you want to upgrade the boat to a larger size. But there really are a variety of price points depending on your budget. Is
this kind of on the smaller end, or is this one in the middle?
That's an average sized, it's definitely under 26 feet. It would be considered, that was a smaller fishing boat. And fishing boats are actually one of the more popular, particularly that one there is a center console, what we call a center console fishing boat. Those are very popular in the coastal regions. And it really, that's the other thing. If where you boat, who you want to go boating with, what activities you want to do, the website will walk you through that. And there's a questionnaire that helps you kind of figure out, okay, what kind of boat type is right for me?
Yeah.
And a lot of people who are new to it are question, well, should I get a pontoon, or should I get a wakeboard boat, or should I get a fishing boat, or a family like cruising boat? So there are a lot of options and styles and price points. So it's really important to do your homework. And whether it's during the winter months, there are a lot of boat shows around the country. But for right now, the outside of doing your online homework, talking to local dealers is a really great way to get a feel for what the trends are in the local market, what kind of inventory is going to be, what kind of boats, what kind of inventory exists, and what kind of boats are going to be the best for the local waterways.
Got it. Okay, I'm going to show the website one more time, discoverboating.com. This is kind of one-stop shop information for it. Has all the information anybody wants to know if they are interested in getting on the water. So this is great. Thanks so much for joining us today. Any final thoughts before we wrap up? I mean, just in this COVID world, I mean, like you said, there's nothing safer or socially distanced in terms of getting out on the water and be healing or calming for your body and mind.
It really can, yeah. I think, Christina, as you pointed out too, it's just even watching that video. Personally, when I get out on the water, it's bizarre. I forget about all the stress that I have on land. I forget about anything that might be on my mind, and it allows you to be in the moment. And I think a lot of us are searching for that right now, and ways to do that right now, and really have fun and connect with each other and be outdoors and feel like we're able to do that in a safe way. And boating has been that solution for a lot of people, which is no doubt exciting for the boating industry. But I think what's most exciting is that we're seeing people experience what we feel like has been this best kept secret that we've had. And now we're sharing with a lot more people.
Very cool. Ellen Bradley, we appreciate your time, Senior Vice President with National Marine Manufacturers Association. If you want to learn more information, you can go to discoverboating.com, and we'll have continuing coverage on coronavirus and other issues on coronavirusnow.com. So thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Christina.
Bye.